want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
Oh yeah. How you doing, everybody?
How you doing? How you doing? How your mama doing? How all them doing? I am Kirk M. Samuels,
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
and we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
For y'alls, for y'alls, for y'alls.
For everybody
We be
but
having real conversations. You know why I'm looking down at my computer screen right now?
you don't like making eye contact with the autistic?
I learned a trick.
Uh-oh.
I learned a trick that you know, if I wanted to ban this show, all I had to do was hit like and subscribe. And so, you know, that's what I'm doing.
Liking and subscribing. I dig it.
I'm liking and subscribing, man. I'm sharing, you know, I'm sharing the feed. You know what I'm saying?
I dig it.
What are we talking about today, man? I gotta type it in.
Men's safety, male safety, men's safety. Yeah, we're gonna talk about men's safety. We talked about this many moons ago. I think several years ago, something similar. It was like male mental health or mental health, but I think I know you wanted to talk about Diddy, and I was just like, no, I can't do Diddy today. No, Diddy won't do it today. So we're gonna talk about this.
Sure, you the boss, man. You the boss.
Hey, I ain't about nothing.
You driving this truck?
That I'll do. So basically, it was actually a TikTok or a reel or something I saw, and it kind of comes back to, you know, we love you, ladies. We know you're our biggest audience, and so we want to educate you. So this is going to be one of those talking for men, because we as men, for most of our childhoods and even adult lives, are taught how to treat a lady, how to make her feel safe, and well, those of us, let me correct that. Those of us that had a strong male influence and a strong female influence that actually wanted to teach us something, would teach us how, you know, this is how you treat a woman, this is how you treat a lady, this is how you make her feel safe and everything. But the same doesn't get said to ladies about men. So a lot of you ladies out there haven't been taught how to treat a man, or how to make even a man feel safe, or that even men need to feel safe. And so that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, for all y'all that don't know, so you know, on Mondays we crank out one of these bad boys. We I don't know if we record the streaming or we stream the recording. I don't know. I think we stream the recording of our radio show here in Denver, KLDC 1220. And so on Mondays we do an hour, and we bust that out, and you get to hear everything we talk about during the breaks and all that kind of stuff on live here on Facebook and YouTube and et cetera. And then we come back on Thursdays, although we've been slacking lately, but we come back on Thursdays and we just talk about something random for a shorter period of time. So we ain't on here long, you know what I'm saying? Just talk about something random just to throw it in there, because we've been doing this, probably the shorter version here for a while, years and years and years. I saw a pop up
5-6 years now. So. Yeah, 5-6 years now.
And so to talk about men's safety. You know, when you go on a job site, certain jobs, you gotta wear a hard hat, you gotta wear goggles, gloves, steel toe boots, you gotta wear reflective vests, all those kinds of things. And and when you're doing the job as men, whether it's interacting with, in a relationship with, or just being a man, you know, there's a such thing as being concerned with safety as well. And yeah, I mean, a large portion of it is, I mean, it'd be great if women could kind of understand some things that men probably get more naturally. And at the same time, you know, it's definitely something that men need to be concerned with when interacting with and having broships, friendships, etc. ships with men too. But I think men kind of get it probably more naturally than women, in terms of like bro code, and there's stuff that you do and stuff that you don't do as men that I think gets lost in translation in terms of a lot of men or women who are in relationships with men, and and don't necessarily know why we might react the way we do when you might do certain things.
Yeah, I mean, I think they mentioned before, but there's actually studies about how our brains work, and what is calming for a woman is stressful for a man, and vice versa. And so just being able to talk about those things in those ways, and know that when you as a woman tell your man or ask him to talk about his feelings or his emotions in the way that you do, that's stressful for him. He has to do it in a different way. He has to figure it out and kind of wrap it up in a bow and then come talk about it. And the way that when men want to be direct, and we want to hear things just like, even being like something like being interrupted, that's something for most guys is not, it's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're talking to a guy and you're telling something, he's like, oh no, I already know that part, let's skip to the end. For a guy, that's more respectful because you're respecting his time. I know a lot of ladies would be like, that's rude, you didn't even let me talk, I just need to talk. And so just having these conversations out here in the world about how men and women's brains are different and how we operate different, because what we see quite a bit is most men nowadays feel like they, their opinions don't matter, their feelings don't matter, their emotions don't matter, their safety doesn't matter. They're just told to be a man, suck it up. And, we're taught how to make a woman feel safe, but I don't think women are taught to, how to make a man feel safe, especially when it comes to relationships.
Yeah, it's not a far stretch to say and recognize that women value safety, and safety is a big thing in the woman's world, and women need to feel safe in order to X, Y, and Z. A lot of times that safety comes in the form of physical safety. For men, we don't necessarily live in that kind of fish tank. We don't walk down the street worrying about who's going to jump out of the alley and all those kinds of things. So for us, safety might look a little bit different, but safety is equally as important. And in those ways, it may not be physical, but you can call it emotional safety. You can call it, in the areas of vulnerability and all those things, and trust. I can't tell you something, or I won't tell you something if I think or believe that I'm not safe with you in terms of, this container, this box. Like, am I safe with you with what you're going to tell somebody, or what you're going to bring back up in the future that possibly, it's like the cops, you get read them Miranda warnings, and the Miranda warnings, laws were, all these laws were generated by, as much as we might hate the male patriarchy, that male patriarchy generated rules. And one of those rules in the legal system is, like I said, those Miranda warnings. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. And we don't want to be in a relationship with anybody where anything we say can and will be used against us, in a court of law or debate or argument or anything like that.
Yeah, there's something, I don't know where it's coming from. I think maybe it's part of the feminist movement or whatnot, but there's just whole younger generation of women who think they need to be a challenge, that, they need to be this boss babe and all this stuff, and that he needs to just go ahead and put up with that, and then she can do whatever. She's got to be in control. She's got to be the leader of the relationship. But then they find out later, and a lot of ladies are finding out now, that they're not really built that way. They don't really want that. That's just what they've been taught. And then they have a man come in and they treat him a certain way, and then he gets quiet, he gets silent, he gets distant, and they think it's something wrong with him. They don't look in the mirror and check themselves to say, well, maybe I'm not approaching him in the correct way. Or maybe, like to your point, he opened up to me once and then I used it against him in an argument. And you do that to any man, once is usually enough. Twice is probably overkill. He's never going to tell you how he feels. He's never going to tell you those things that you say you want to know. And that's something you have to check a lot of times, ladies, to yourself, because a lot of you say, I want you to open up to me. I want you to talk to me, but you're thinking of it from a female point of view. You're thinking of it from, this is how I process. This is how me and my girlfriends process. But you're not thinking about it from a male point of view. And if he does open up to you and then you use it against him, or you argue with him, or, say he tries to open up and explain what's going on, and then you make it about you, he's not going to open up again, because now he doesn't feel safe to be vulnerable with you. And that's the whole point of marriage and partnership between the masculine and feminine. We want to be each other's safe place. You need him to be physically stronger. You need him to be physically protective. You need him to make you feel safe and secure. Well, he also needs to feel that from you. And that comes from emotional security, knowing you're not going to go out and talk about all the stuff online or with your girlfriends, whatever. You're going to keep that sacred within the home.
In these shorter lives that we do, I don't have a whole lot of runway to take off. So sometimes when we're talking for an hour, I give myself an hour worth of runway to take off, to go deep or to cut deep or to get real. Building up to the point. In these cases, sometimes I got to be like an aircraft carrier. You got to hook up to that catapult and touch the deck and just go. So here we go. Obviously I work with a lot of people that, I work with people, over the years, a lot of people who struggle with pornography. And by default ended up working with a lot of couples. And I hear a lot of things, and I get insights, not only from my own experience in the past, but then also from what other people have experienced. And so, this is going to be, contrary to probably something that a whole lot of people have heard. And that is, a lot of wives will say they don't feel safe with their husband sexually because he consumes pornography. And that's okay. That's cool. And we can accept that. Everybody nods. Yeah. Yep. We all get that. I say that if the husband has a porn problem, buried in all of that is his lack of safety with his wife. That if he's sneaking around and hiding and, staying up all night, in the office and, and all these other kind of things, if he's consuming this and he has this deep problem that lives in the shadows, you got to ask, why does he have to keep that in the shadow with his wife? Why can't he talk about that with his wife? Why can't he, if he's going to do that, why doesn't he do that, sitting next to her or laying next to her, or, why does he do that trying to hide it from her? And I say, buried in all of that. And if I was a therapist, which I'm not, but if I was a therapist and I was working with a couple who were recovering or trying to process through, a husband's porn addiction, I would, obviously deal with the source. I always say the problem is his, but the solution is both of theirs, right? The solution involves both of them. And part of that solution is he does not feel safe with his wife. He feels like his sexuality is something that he can't openly share with her, even his fantasies, his desires, even some of his dark desires, whether he has to act those things out or not. He has to live those in a fantasy world because he can't communicate that or even think about opening that part of him up to his wife for fear of judgment or some kind of unsafe feeling. And so that is part of that whole equation in terms of, if a guy doesn't feel safe, a lot of times he'll take whatever his precious is into dark places, and he'll go, worship that in the dark, and true worship of anything has to exist in the light. So in this weird kind of upside down way, even in a scenario that many millions of people are dealing with right now, I would say buried in that, a wife or a therapist should ask, hey, why don't you feel safe? Why don't you feel safe in this relationship? Why don't you feel like you can talk about this or bring this up or whatever? And I bet you somewhere back in the day, there was something that she said, ew, and she judged him. And he said, okay, that's all I need to know right there. I'm taking mine and I'm gonna go into my closet with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Pretty much any addiction, any sort of soothing behavior that a man's doing is usually because he doesn't feel safe enough to approach you with it. He doesn't, because we're human beings. We get stressed out. We need to vent. We need to do something to deal with this energy within us, whether it's stress or grief or remorse or, guilt, whatever, the shame, whatever it is. And if we don't feel safe to do that with you, if we've attempted it and it's been thrown in our face, or you reacted or judged or made it about you, then now he doesn't feel safe. And so a lot of times in relationships, these activities that is always pointed towards the man, and it looks like it's all his fault, like using porn to soothe himself in the relationship. There's no accountability put back on, well, why does he need to do that? Why does he not feel safe in the relationship to talk to you about his stuff? And that's why you have so many guys who end up drinking themselves to death or having heart attacks or having all these stress related illnesses because they don't have a way to vent. And why we do this show and talk so much about men's groups, therapy, and having some place to go to let the steam off. Because if you don't have it at home, you got to do it somewhere. Otherwise, it's going to kill you. But the best place to do it would be at home with your partner. Now, if she's not available, if she can't, doesn't have the skill set, doesn't want to listen, then you got to find other avenues. But all of these things, to your point, there's all these behaviors are interrelated to self-soothing, which just comes from a place of trying to deal with and traumas, stress, whatever is going on within them in a way that may not be healthy, but that's the only way they know how to deal with it. So if your partner, whether they're male or female, are dealing with something and they're not being able to bring you into that, if you're not a safe place for them to vent and come to and be a part of that healing journey, then they're going to use something else. A lot of times with ladies, it's social media and attention from other guys or something like that, or cheating or whatever. With guys, a lot of times it's pornography, alcohol, or something else that they're trying to soothe so they don't feel safe with you.
I know that's even going this again, got to take off for the aircraft carrier, right? Don't have a whole lot of time here today to really, really kind of work our way up to it. And even in that scenario, man, it's really easy to point to the guy. And obviously, it hurts right there. And you can say, you can ask all these questions about why he does what he does. But rarely do people kind of peel back the onion and say what's happening in the context of this relationship. And so, I'm really not going to tempted to, for the sake of political correctness, but I'm not going to back down in this moment from the idea that his safety is important. Is his safety an excuse? I hold guys, when I work with guys and talk to guys, I hold guys accountable for their actions. On this platform, we talk to guys as much as we talk for guys. And I believe in that personal accountability, and I believe in all those things. And I believe in, the kingship of every part of who you are, and even in your sexuality. I believe in all that kind of stuff. But we can't give a pass to the environment. Part of it is nature, part of it is nurture. We can't give a pass to the environment that a guy might be living in. So when's the last time a wife has asked her husband, do you feel safe? Do you feel safe in this relationship? Do you feel open to tell me anything, that you might be struggling with, or anything you want to talk about? Do you feel safe? When's the last time any wife has asked that question to her husband? When is the last time friends, guys, ask that question to other guys? Are you safe? Do you feel safe? This is Men's Mental Health Month, and Monday we're gonna be talking about this stuff on our 1 hour show. But why are guys taking themselves out left and right? Because they don't feel safe. They don't feel safe calling somebody up saying, I'm struggling with this. Why does a guy that just got a divorce degree, or just got served with divorce papers, why does he not reach out to his boys and say, I'm hurting? This sucks, because he doesn't feel safe, whether that's real or perceived. Either way, he doesn't feel safe. And so, we can narrow in on him and just pounce on him for his actions. We got to understand a lot of these things don't happen in a vacuum. And like I said, I hold the guy accountable, and it is his problem to solve. And then at the same time, in order for his problem to be solved and the solution to that problem to flourish, you got to deal with the environment in which he's living in. You can't have a guy become, a guy that was an alcoholic, stop drinking alcohol, but he works at a bar. The two just don't work. That it just doesn't work. And so you gotta recognize the environment. In this case, I'm telling you, it's a lack of safety why guys do a lot of things that they do, especially in secret and in private.
Yeah, ladies, if you really want to get a good man or want to know how to get a man to like just lash onto you and be loyal and whatnot, if you can let go of all the stuff you've been taught and how the feminist movement has pushed that it's all about you and the man's got to provide everything, you don't have to provide anything. If you provide him a safe place, if you ask him these questions, if you actually take an interest in his heart and his soul, because all we've been taught all our lives is suck it up, be a man, don't be weak, don't cry, don't do all those things. And I get it. I hear you ladies talking now. I don't want to be his mama. I want him to be a real man. Well, the whole point of a relationship is to be 100% yourself together. Like you want him to make you feel safe. Well, he needs you to make him feel safe, and they just look different ways. And so if you become an investigator and start investigating how he actually feels, what's actually going on with him, and ask him questions and and then allow him to answer in his way. Allow him to take the time to formulate and think about his answer and process it, and then package it up and bring it to you. Because we don't communicate the way you guys do. Guys tend to go to their boxes and put everything together and like put it together like a puzzle, and then bring you the finished puzzle. And like, here's what here's my issue, here's my thing, and this is how it connects. We don't just talk to talk. We have a goal in mind. We're very linear thinkers. So allow him his process, allow him to do his process, but ask him those questions. I guarantee you, if you are in a relationship with a guy and you walk up to him and just say, how are you? Or I appreciate you, or, you are valuable. That guy's probably going to stop, get quiet, and tear up, because that's not something we hear. We're so told to be strong. We're so told to be, suck it up and all, rah, all this stuff about being a tough, strong man. But part of that is we have to be human as well, which means we have to process our emotions. We have to process these things that we're not taught how to process a lot of times. So if you want to really have a toolkit to make this man feel safe, you want to have a toolkit and a to-do list of, hey, this is how you can get him. Because, if you become that safety, you become that peaceful safety person for that man, he's never going to leave you. You don't have to worry about him stepping out. You don't have to worry about him doing anything crazy, because most of us don't feel safe. Like, you ladies don't feel safe in parking lots, so you carry your keys between your fingers. Most men don't feel safe opening up to anybody, because it's not a safe place for us out there. You become that safe place, then, now his physical protection of you become his emotional protection. Now you're in a win-win relationship.
Yeah. And here's the magic bullet. Here's the secret sauce. I'm about to give it to you. Here's the answer to the test. It's really, here it is right here. Here's the big one. Here's the big kabang on the fireworks show. I'm beating around the bush because this is what I do. I'm teasing you a little bit. If he tells you something and you ever bring it up again to use it against him, you done. You absolutely done. Period. And you said once or maybe twice or three. I'm telling you, I give you one shot. I give you one shot, man. If I open up some stuff and it comes back against me, it's a done deal. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're my wife or my kids or my golf buddy or my boss. Well, I don't care who you are. Like, if that ever comes up, now, almost the same, but to a lesser degree, how you react to the things that he tells you can make a big difference as well. If he tells you something, if your husband comes to you and says, hey, babe, man, I really had this thought. I really want to like cover ourselves with peanut butter and just, and just whatever. I don't know. Whatever. And let's pretend we're, whatever it is. I don't know. If he comes to you with something wild, I don't want to let y'all in on my secret fantasies. If I keep talking, I'm gonna tell y'all too much about me. But don't judge me, man. But if he comes to you and say, hey, babe, man, I had this weird dream, or I've been thinking about something or whatever, how you react to how you respond, if you respond making it a safe thing, just because he's bringing it up to you doesn't mean you got to do it. But him being able to share these things, like, man, I had the wildest dream, babe. Me and you were on stage at the Journey concert, and man, I had you bent over the keyboard, and we was never mind. Y'all that's why I can't be telling y'all nothing, man, because y'all be judging me. But anyhow, to just bring that stuff up, and if you just respond like, oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. But oh my God, if you make them feel dirty and cheap and and weird and all that kind of stuff, again, you just giving them a reason to shut down and not feel safe. But I think it's a huge, every wife out there that's watching this, every woman that has a man in her life romantically out there, or really in any kind of way, should ask, do you feel safe with me? I really want to know, do you feel safe with me? And be prepared for the answer. Probably, I'm going to say at least 7 to 8 times out of 10, his answer is going to be not completely. Or if you say, give me a spectrum, 1 to 10, how safe do you feel with me? You know, if he says a 4 or 5 or a 3 or 2 or whatever, you know, you got to own that. You got to own that. You know, but I guarantee you, most men do not feel 90 or above percent safe with the woman that they're with. That's something that we don't know. No woman asked that question. No woman cares. Do you feel safe?
Yeah, I mean, the whole safety scale for men is going to come back to ladies as your accountability. And to Kirk's point, your reaction tells us where you're at. So if we say something, and you know, a lot of times, you know, a lot of truth is said in jest. We may be making jokes, especially when you're first dating, you're first getting together, and we're basically judging. We're basically creating a criteria of, okay, this is the line that I can cross and not cross. Like, this is the boundaries. I'm setting up this foundation and this perimeter for myself with this woman. So you get into a relationship, he's created this scenario in his head of, this is how far I can go with her. This is the subjects I can talk about. These are the things I can say, which means he's not 100% honest with you because he can't be. He doesn't feel like he can be. And so you have to take some accountability to realize that he basically got that recipe from you. He asked you questions, he made jokes, he did different things and judged your reaction. So he knew where he could take it and where he couldn't. And in that way, he's not able to be 100% with you, because a lot of us, you know, we, especially in our humor, we can be dark, we can be dry, we can be dirty. And if you react certain ways when we're trying to be funny, then we're going to say, okay, check that off the list, put that in the do not disturb box, put that in the do not say box. And so we basically are denying parts of ourselves to try to make you happy. And in any relationship, when you deny parts of yourself, try to make the other happy, now there's, you know, consideration, there's compromise, there's things like that. That's part of relationship as well. But if you want him to feel safe with you, you want him to be open and honest with you, then you got to understand that your reaction matters, your judgment matters. And if you ever bring that stuff back and use it against him in an argument, you know, that's just shutting him down even more, because those are things we pay attention to. And there's a lot of times, ladies too, we know you get emotional, and it takes time for us to find out how you argue and what you mean when you're upset and what you don't mean. So be careful what you say sometimes when you're upset. I know in my past, I've had a girlfriend be upset and she's like, you know, F you and F off. I'm like, well, okay. And then she's mad at me because I left. And I'm like, well, you just told me to, and I didn't appreciate the way you told me, but I listened to you and I'm leaving. So understand that in this dynamic of the masculine and feminine, we're both kind of learning from each other. And so you got to take that time. That's why on the last episode with Sean, we were talking about like prenups. These are a great thing to do because you have those hard conversations and you can actually talk about those things. And that's what dating should be. If you find somebody and you have chemistry and you have a connection and you think, wow, this might be the one, it's time to start digging in. You're digging a foundation. It's time to start getting dirty and getting down into the dirt and pulling up all your stuff and being like, hey, how about this? Is this okay? You know, okay. You know, you need to have those conversations. And if you don't have those conversations, then I guarantee you're not going to feel safe because he doesn't feel safe with you.
Yeah. And you know, again, us as guys, we also got to ask the guys in our life, the guys closest to us, do you feel safe? Do you feel safe with me? We need to know that. I mean, because like I said, men 86 themselves when they don't feel safe with anybody, when they feel like, you know, they're lonely and isolated. And so we got to be able to open up. We got to be able to talk. We got to be able to share these things. And if you're in a relationship, if you're in a romantic relationship with a man, husband, boyfriend, whatever you want to call it, you know, you need to ask that question. You need to be able to be open. He needs to be able to be safe with you, man. So, you know, I'm about to go downstairs and I'm going to tell my wife I want to bend her over the keyboard at a Journey concert until she screams, "Don't Stop Believing."
And TMI, thank you very much. You know, you always tell me I'm the line crosser, and then we get over here, and now that line, you didn't
tell her,
line. You jumped over the line.
Don't stop believing, babe. Don't stop believing. Don't stop believing. The whole stadium looking at us. Anyhow, whatever. Forget y'all. Hey, we love y'all.
I'm very glad you feel safe to share that with me, but now I don't.
I feel safe with you, man. I feel safe with you that I can share that with you. And you know, and we can be open like that, man.
I feel safe with you on the golf course with the club in my hand, but when you get around the peanut butter, I don't feel safe. I'm just letting you know. So I'm just stay away from the peanut butter around me.
Well, I mean, you know, it's all good, man. Just don't go to a Journey concert with me.
No.
Yeah,
I'll be up in the balcony. Y'all can have the stage. It'll be all right.
Yeah, right on. Hey, we love each and every one of y'all, man. Holler at your boys. You know, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you hate us? Is Jason like a line stepper? Does he put too much of his information out there? You know, all those kinds of things. You know, let us know, man. Hit like and subscribe. It don't cost you nothing to hit share. Somebody needs to hear this. Some couple needs to hear this. Some wife needs to hear this. You know, and like I said, it don't cost us nothing. We just out here trying to make a positive impact in the world, man. So, and if you're watching us live, if you're watching us anytime beforehand, August 24th, 2024, Parker, Colorado, you know, Masculine Empowerment Network Summit is happening. menempowerment.net is the website, and we're going to try to make a difference, man. Try to make things happen. And so check us out at madmenradio.com.
And you're looking at your twin co-hosts there, your twin MCs. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be MCing. We're gonna be talking. We're gonna be bringing people together. So yeah, make sure you get your tickets to come in. For those of you with short attention span, make sure you subscribe to our TikTok, because we not only have the YouTube channel, we not only have madmenradio.com, but we also have the TikTok, and we'll be putting up little snippets from all these episodes for you to, you know, little nuggets. So go get you some nuggets.
I didn't know we had TikTok. I didn't even know that, dude. I didn't even know that, man. Learned something new today.
See?
Anyhow. All right. Holla at your boys, and we'll catch y'all next time. And until next time, the Mad Men are out.
Out.